This is my video journal. It's not intended to be advice or guidance. I'm just expressing what I'm thinking and feeling in the present moment. Just had a breakthrough epiphany, insight, had a couple, because I've been trying to force my way through this imagined obstacle, which is not feeling driven and motivated. There's layers and layers to it. So I was like, wanted to get back into the journals and record consistently, but I've changed a lot on the inside as a person. And I'm just trying to figure out how to show up again on camera without it being weird. Like I had this idea that it would be weird if I was too different. And I wanted to be, I've actually always struggled with this. I've always had this idea that I need to be really enthusiastic, animated, very alive, and like loud. I always felt like if I'm too quiet, then it's not gonna really have the same impact. But I watched some old journals as a part of this whole process, trying to figure out how I'm gonna proceed, because it's been a proper block. It's been like I cannot record. I've been turning the camera on and going like, this isn't me every time, like, and try and go, okay, let's try to be a little bit more louder or more animated, and it's just like I feel fake. So maybe the solution is just to actually speak quietly and just like the microphone's going to pick it up. The microphone is going to amplify my voice to the correct audio levels anyway, you know, like within reason. Like if I've got my microphone on the other side of the room and I'm whispering, it's not going to work. But the microphone's right here. That's why I use a lapel mic, because early days when I was recording interviews with different kinds of microphones, I found that people who spoke really quietly, if the microphone wasn't right next to their mouth, we wouldn't be able to save that audio. Like no matter how much processing and amplification and like how much we try to edit out background noise, like we would just end up with audio that wasn't really what we were looking for. So yeah, the insight is like, be quiet, be calm. You don't need to be animated. You don't need to be even enthusiastic. I think some of my best video journals out of the ones that I looked back on, and I was looking for journals that I was, you know, this sounds silly, but I was looking for journals where I performed poorly. Like I was looking for the journals that I thought would be the worst. And I was looking at some of them and I was just having the same realization over and over again. It's actually the ones where I'm not trying at all and I'm just really relaxed and just comfortable. And I'm not even like, not thinking about sharing anything with the world. I'm more just documenting my thoughts and feelings for real. Like the realer it is, the better it is. And yeah, I don't know why I've got this idea that I'm supposed to be so animated and enthusiastic and over the top. Like I have a bunch of images flashing through my awareness right now of like different YouTubers and influencers and creators that are that I would definitely aspire to be more like, but I know it's not me. And I know as well that there's creators out there who are a bit more quiet and mild-mannered. I think the issue is because like I'm not quiet and mild-mannered, but it's how I show up on camera. Like I'm very, like I feel like there's huge things inside of me that want to be expressed. And I feel like I want to be loud and I want to scream from the rooftops and I want to do the most like confronting things and like enthusiastic things, and make like I have pictures in my awareness now of just like the craziest content. I've always had this picture of like just screaming an entire video from a cliff's edge and stuff like that. And like maybe it's just that there's a time and a place for that. And this is actually my default setting, like just calm, collected, and not necessarily like loud. Like, so I was really stuck on that. I was really stuck on like recording. I've been trying to record at my new place in Brisbane, and I felt really insecure that the neighbours can hear me. And I'm going, oh, why am I feeling so insecure? So I'm trying to speak up. I'm trying to get louder and like push through that resistance and be like, no, you know what? This is my space, and I'm gonna use this creative space to have my voice and create my content. But I could totally just sit there and not try to inflate myself and expand myself further out into that space. I could just like sit there quietly and not have all of that reaction occurring inside of me. Like if I just like sit here and talk like this, this is actually an experiment right now. I'm testing it out because I'm like, I just had the realization, maybe if I just speak quietly, and it's probably not even that different. And as I go on throughout the videos, when I am comfortable, the more me it shows up and it starts to come through naturally. Like it wouldn't be hard for me now to do any of the things that I'm imagining in the present moment, because I'm actually in alignment with myself. I'm comfortable with myself. And you basically can't shoot any kind of really authentic content if you're not in that place. So my big insight for today is like, stop trying to force yourself to be something that you're not, something that you wish you were, because the thing that's actually showing up that you're fighting against when it's not just with video content, it could be with any aspect of your life. Like if you keep wishing that you were something else, like in any part of your life, and you're trying to show up in that way, you're using all this energy, it's tiring. It's so tiring, like to be like, nah, I've got to be louder, I've got to be faster, more enthusiastic, all those things. Those are my things right now, but I don't know what your things are. Like when we're trying to be something that we're not, we really got to look at like, well, what's the version of me that is the default, that's actually just showing up naturally? Like, let's actually give that a chance, because it's probably exactly what we need. And we're trying to, like, whatever's motivating us, like, to try to change ourselves, like, what is that? Sometimes it might be a positive thing. Like like, sure, there's a time and a place for improving yourself, you know? But for me, like, in these particular journals, as I've said all that stuff and it's come out of my mouth, I've also had new insights. Like maybe people don't want to be like yelled and screamed at, you know, like not that I yell and scream, but like maybe it's more comfortable to listen to if it's just, you know, calm, collected. Like it's a stream of consciousness. It's my thoughts and feelings in the present moment. It's not like a motivational montage video, you know. Like I'm really attracted to those. I really want somebody to make one of those of me one day, of like all these like crazy things that I've said. So I guess that's a little bit of like in the background of my awareness, like you've got to show up and you've got to sound like that, because that's like the picture that you want to create in the world. Like that's part of the avatar that you're creating here for the internet and all that. But yeah, sometimes I am, sometimes like, and I think also I've got to, like the journal is not the place, but I want to create a place. And this is a huge opening up of possibility when you have that realization, okay, so this is how I'm showing up in this part of my life. And there's more inside of me. There's more that I would like to do. There's more that I would like to express. So how do I create a new space for all of that to show up? Because like I said, all that stuff's inside of me. It's bigger, it's louder, it's more enthusiastic. it's more extreme. There's extreme things inside of me. I'm excited to do crazy things. Like there's an adrenaline junkie side to me that just hasn't even had any attention for years, really. Like I've had little bursts, but like there's so much more. And while it's like you're trying to put a square through a round hole, like a square peg through a round hole, when there is a square hole. Or you're trying to force all of what you are through this single conduit, instead of like really looking around your life and reality, like for other opportunities to express those other parts of yourself. And that's huge. Like this is huge for me right now. I'm hearing my own words and going, thank you. Like, thank you for like emerging through this process here now. It's like, because I'm going to go away and think about this, contemplate this, and come up with some ideas like, well, how am I going to express those other parts of myself? But most importantly, I'm no longer going to try to force those parts of myself through this. And I'm actually just going to be comfortable again. And I've been really uncomfortable. But because like the other piece of it is I've changed so much as a person. I've just traveled all over the country. I've completely reimagined my business and like what I actually want to contribute to the world. You know, ended a 5.5-year relationship August last year. So it's been like 6-7 months now. And just like been exploring on my own and like finding out who I am by myself again. That's been huge. And it's like, I'm so proud of like how far I've come watching those old journals as well, and hearing all of my intent, like this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, and then being here 6 months later and like through all of the emotional chaos and storms and hectic stuff that's gone down while I've been pushing myself and like while I've been exploring for real, like with no limitations. Like I've really been going for it. Like I've made it through and I did all the things that I promised myself, or that I set the intent to do. And yeah, I just feel great about all of that. And I guess this is a pretty significant moment, just like when you've changed, when you've evolved and you've become a greater version of yourself. Like there's these moments where like you're sort of in it and you're going through it, and then there's these moments like right now, which will be, you got to savor these moments and just really, really appreciate them, because I guarantee you tomorrow I'm going to be back into it. I'm going to be like, well, I'm in it all the time. It doesn't really stop. Like change is constant, but like you have these brief moments where you're like, fuck yeah, like look what we've done. So there's a little bit of that, and there's a lot of good stuff just in this present moment. So I'm really glad that I had that one single insight that led to me hitting record, having this little conversation with myself and with all of you guys. Sometimes I forget that's even the purpose of this, to share it with the community. That's what, then you know that you're on a good like expression and you're really just in that flow of thoughts and feelings being expressed. Like it just feels so good. I encourage people to do this, like just journal your thoughts and feelings, pen and paper or with a video camera, and just sometimes you verbalize something, and even if it is something that is having a huge impact on you and it's affecting you and it's really hard, sometimes just it coming out of your mouth and being verbalized is enough for you to let it go. Like it's crazy the power of like just exploring yourself through any means that you figure out how to do that. Like pen and paper for some people is it. Like some people it's talking to a close friend, you know. I just think the more time we spend not running away from the stuff that's affecting us, the sooner we're going to come up with solutions, the sooner that we're going to like resolve this stuff within ourselves. And then it just frees you up more and more. Every little insight, every little transformation, you're just a little bit more free, a little bit more free. And then it always feels like, yeah, there's more to do, there's more work to do. The work is never done. It's always evolving and growing, and like you solve all those problems, then you've got new problems, but the problems get more worthwhile, like, and the rewards for every time you level up, like just like in a video game, like every time you level up, the rewards get better and better, and you unlock more and more of the game, and it's just, yeah, it's just so worth doing, like spending time with yourself. And that's you know, I'm pretty extreme with it. Like, I don't drink or do any drugs. Like, I'll have a beer with my family at a barbecue or something like that, but I don't have any kind of substance that I use anymore at all. And I've got rid of my Xbox fucking probably close to a decade ago. Don't play video games really. Like, as I'm saying it, I'm like, yeah, I'll play a video game with my brother like at Christmas time or something like that. So yeah, like I've just gotten rid of all the distractions, and I'm like, you know, it might seem like, yeah, extreme, like I've almost like, yeah, surrendered all of my worldly possessions, and, you know, just gone off on this spiritual quest. But it's still beautiful, and like I don't know why I'm trying to defend it even. It's like I just, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to defend is my choice to spend all of my energy and awareness on developing myself, because I know there's a culture at the moment that is emerging of like people saying that working on yourself is actually making you more depressed and all of those things. And I know what they're talking about, but don't let that become a limiting belief for you on your journey. Like, go develop yourself at your own pace, and because we feel fulfillment when we develop and when we contribute. That's just a part of being human. So you don't want to fall into the trap of like these anti personal development movements where they're saying like it's all basically a waste of time. Just go do all the drugs, play all the video games, have all the sex, and like, or watch all the porn. Like, you don't, like, people aren't even having sex anymore. They're just like sucked into their phone screens watching porn all day. Like, you know, it's a slippery slope, and it's like you're either improving your life, making it worse, or staying the same. And this is like a bit of a quote that I'm paraphrasing. 2 out of those 3 take effort. So staying the same actually takes effort. If you just want to maintain what you've already got, you've got to put a little bit of effort in to maintain that. If you want to improve, you've got to put a lot of effort in. If you want to make your life worse, no effort. It's so easy, like you can just enjoy yourself. So that's why it's so appealing. It's that simple. Don't know how like having the insights about just being myself went in that direction. I guess that's like the secondary, okay, so this is what I actually wanted to say once I figured out how to talk again, how to make content again. So yeah, this is finally happening. I'm finally had the breakthrough insight that I needed to have to come back. This is going to be actually the beginning of the next chapter. All of the content that you've seen before this journal, I can clearly see like the end of an era happening there.